Hello, everyone. Good evening. Well, tonight I am going to talk about the evidence for the current week. Okay. Let me share the learning guide with you. First of all, I'm going to share the learning guide, guys. Um, this one. Let me share it with you. This is the learning guide. Look, the number of the evidence is, let me put it a little bit bigger, is mapa mental sobre su personal learning environment. That is the same as saying mind map about personal learning environment, PLE. ¿Qué es lo que usted debe hacer ahí? Usted debe hacer un mapa mental en donde usted cuente cómo ha sido su proceso de aprendizaje del idioma inglés, qué estrategias ha utilizado, qué métodos ha utilizado, lugares donde ha utilizado, estrategias que usted utiliza para aprender, para estudiar, para leer, para hacer sus tareas, tecnología que utiliza, ¿ok? Quiénes han sido sus profesores de pronto, en qué instituciones ha estudiado inglés. Well, so there are a lot of ways to you can show a lot of paths, a lot of ways, a lot of methods, a lot of strategies you have used to learn English so far. Lo que usted ha utilizado para aprender inglés hasta ahora. ¿Listo? Entonces vamos a mirar vamos a mirar el lesson plan for today. This is our lesson plan. Y ahí en este lesson plan nosotros vamos a mirar algunos tutorials about how to design a mind map. Okay? So the code for our mind map is GA4AA1EVO2, mapa mental sobre su proceso personal de aprendizaje. Okay? It is very interesting. It's a great strategy. This is a very great activity because you will be able to tell us about, well, how have you, how have you been learning English? The strategies, the ways, the methods. Well, so anything you have used so far to learn English. So the code is this is the code for our lesson plan. GA4 2402025018A1EB02. Ese es el código de nuestro lesson plan. ¿Ok? Producto a entregar, mapa mental con ideas, conceptos e información que permitan conocer los elementos web. Okay. So I want to share with you, in addition to this, I want to share with you some examples of lesson plans, okay? Some lesson plans. Well, some people from other programs at Sena, they have done these lesson plans, okay? So this is the way, this is one. So you can use your creativity, okay, to design your lesson plan, okay? The first step for this lesson plan is school vocabulary dictionary use and verbs. Second strategy, music. Number 3, movies. Number 4, social networks. Number 5, tutorials on the internet or YouTube. and 6 SENA instructors, okay? Well, that's one of those strategies. That's one mind map. Now let's have a look to this one. It's another one, you know. Number one, music. He loves, he has used music to learn English. Number two, movies, okay. Number three, reading books, reading on the internet. Number four, studying. Number five, work and environment. Okay. And the center for this mind map is building personal foreign language learning environments. Okay. This is the headline of the activity. Personal learning environment, PLE, that is the name. And this is another one, another mind map, you know, in my childhood, my home, my primary school, high school, secondary school, and nowadays. And currently, what are you doing? So you will have the possibility to design your mind map, well, as you want, okay? Do it as you want. Well, use the strategy, use the software you want, use the strategy you want, use the methods you want, use whatever you want to design your own mind map. Vamos a utilizar las estrategias que queramos, el software que queramos, la metodología que queramos para diseñar un mapa mental en donde usted cuente su proceso de aprendizaje del idioma inglés hasta ahora, ¿cómo ha sido? Miren, aquí nos han contado, empecé a trabajar en la escuela con vocabulario, con diccionarios, con verbos. Luego, utilicé la música como una estrategia. Luego veía también cine, movies, or videos, or whatever it is, and so on. So on, okay? So there are a lot of ways to learn English, a lot of strategies you have used to learn English so far. Es nombrar, mencionar cómo ha aprendido usted hasta ahora, cómo ha estudiado usted inglés, cómo lo ha hecho. ¿Ok? Entonces aquí tenemos 3 ejemplos muy bonitos, muy ilustrativos de cómo estas personitas, el mapa mental de ellos, cómo fue en su aprendizaje de cada uno del inglés. Un poco diferentes, pero tienen cosas parecidas también. Okay. So, now, we are going to watch 3 videos about how to design a mind map. Okay. Vamos a ver 3 videos para cómo diseñar un mapa mental. Okay. Vamos a ver uno en español y 2 en inglés. Okay, guys. This is the one. Okay. Let's start. I will share the links. Let me do that immediately. I will share the links for these videos on through our chat box. Okay. I'm gonna share the links. This is the first video. Okay, I will turn my microphone off to let you listen and watch better. Okay, here you are.
Humanitarian Day, which isn't like a topic I do at school, but I don't need to do any mind maps at the moment, so I just chose this, and you'll see why at the end. So I just started with my pastel stabilo highlighters and just wrote out like a title, and then I saw on Pinterest that if you like use pencil to like put the shadows in, it actually makes it stand out. And actually I was really like happy with how this turned out. I actually thought it looked quite cute, and it just sort of gave it a bit of extra dimension. So I was just using your bog standard pencil to do this, like nothing particularly fancy. But I like to have my title stand out because I feel like it makes the mind map so much more inviting when you have to come and revise from it. And then I just added some stars and then just outlined it with pencil, just because I wanted to give it, like, make it stand out on the page and keep it separate from the rest of the information. So that's what I did. And then titles I do in purple. I mean, obviously, like, not every single mind map, but like I try and do them in like a nice color, and then I put a little like picture and then outline them. I feel like if you make your titles and stuff attractive, then like you'll want to learn from it. So I always do a key facts section because I feel like at a glance you just need to have the key core things down that you need to know. So I always use blue to highlight my like key things, and then if there's information that doesn't quite fit in like that area, but you want to put it there, I'll do like a little did you know box or something like that. I mean, I wasn't very happy with how the did you know boxes turned out on this mind map, but like it's not that like not that big of a deal. So I'll just use a black pen to like do like the actual writing, and then different colors to make things stand out. So here I'm doing a section on the bombing in Baghdad. So I sort of put like blue for like the key facts, key figures, keywords that I want to pop out the page. Of course, you could just highlight it, but I just wanted to do this. And this about MSF didn't really fit with the Baghdad bombing, but like I wanted to put it next to it. So again, I just used a little thing. I just realized I've written that in the wrong color. So I do change that later though. So this is like sort of showing you like how I like condense information. So obviously you saw that was quite a long paragraph, and I just make it shorter. And that is the way of doing it, is just get rid of the unnecessary words. So here I'm just doing another section, and as you can see, I've added like little pictures, and when I do bullet points, I'll always make those stand out. I think, you know, you have to like customize it yourself, but my main tip for mind maps is don't put everything on it. Like, you don't need everything on it. If this is just to revise like the key ideas, make it pretty and make it stand out. So I'm kind of like budgeting for space, so like I didn't really have the choice to put loads of stuff on. But if you are like, you know, stressed, then just make sure that you do what I do and cut things down. So here I had a spare space. So at this point, I was like, hey, I can add that extra bit of information that I wanted to add earlier. And now I'm going to use a post-it note. And what I do on my post-it note is write down all of the headings, and then I cover up the heading, go through all the information and tick it when I'm done. And I do this to revise. Like, that's how I revise my maps, is like I'll like go through the headings and like make sure I've covered everything, or get my mom to test me with the headings. So that is my mind map. I'm really happy with it. As you can see, there's a huge slide of information condensed to like the tiniest little section on a mind map. So it is doable. And look, that's just so much nicer to revise from than a PowerPoint. Like, I'm actually quite proud of this mind map. I do have other mind maps, of course. Like, I would probably wouldn't spend this long on every single mind map. So these are my politics ones. They're just a bit like simpler, but I still have like colors for like examples, colors for like different subheadings, and the post-it notes. And when I'm revising from my maps, I like to store them all in like a big foldery thing. So I had one for history, as you can see here. This was my year 10 mind maps. It's another.
Okay, guys, well, this is a very particular way to design a by hand, you know. And next, we are gonna listen to and watch another mind map, please. This is a little bit more professional mind map, but I'm just giving you some tips, okay? Clues on how to design your mind map. But it's up to you. Absolutely, it's up to you. You can use whatever you want, whatever strategy you want, okay? any strategy, any software, whatever you want. Okay, let me set a little bit this mind map, this video.
And you found that it was overwhelming, or you're just staring at a blank page, not sure what to put down, or you're even insecure about trying it, then I'm going to tell you exactly why you feel that way and what you can do about it. Now, I travel around the world delivering workshops on how to learn more effectively, and mind mapping is a common technique that I'll teach. And the way that I teach it now is actually very different to how I taught it 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I would just say, here's how to mind map, go and do it. And then 5 minutes later, I'd look around and everyone has a blank page in front of them, confused, and they don't know where to start. And at first, it confused me because I'm literally giving step-by-step instructions on how to do the technique. Like, why can't you just do it? But then, over the years, I realized that there are two very common and powerful mental barriers that people form over their academic lives that seriously hold them back. And it's not just for mind mapping. These mental barriers, which are basically habits that we form, will hold you back for pretty much any effective learning technique that you can ever learn. So what are these mental barriers? The first thing is that you have to trust your brain. What does that mean?
Many people think belief in God depends entirely on faith, but it is not the...
Okay, imagine you're sitting there in a lecture. Most people, if they're awake, will just be listening, sitting there and writing or typing down their notes constantly. Just listening and writing it down straight away like a human photocopier. And if that's you, then you're really gonna struggle to learn more efficiently. And I'll explain why in a sec, but first, here's a question for you. If you write notes constantly while you are consuming new information, why do you do that? Why don't you just listen to it first, piece it all together, think about it, synthesize it, and then output it in a nicely formatted, organized set of notes? The answer is that number one, you probably don't know how, and that seems really overwhelming. And number two, you don't trust your brain to be able to do that in the first place. After all, you've never been able to do that before, and you might think that your memory is like a sieve. So there's no reason to believe that your brain could hold on to all of that information, put it all together nicely, and then write a set of notes right at the end. But this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's not a good prophecy. The prophecy says you are going to struggle to learn forever. Because I want you to think about how learning actually works. Let's say I'm learning from this book. If I just look at this book, how much do you think I'm going to learn? Not a lot. Now, what if I open the book and look at some pages? Am I learning now? Yeah, probably not yet. But what if I now read the words that are on the page? Am I learning now? Yeah, a little bit more than before. Okay, what if I now read the words, think about them, ask myself some questions, and then go back to try to answer those questions, flicking back and forth within the book to answer that, and then write down my notes that summarize my thoughts. So obviously that last one will probably result in the most amount of learning. And the key difference between those examples I just gave you is how much your brain is involved in that process. So when we think about us reading something, that information coming into our brain, then us writing some notes about it, learning is the part that happens in the middle, in the gap between where information goes in and then comes out again. In fact, research tells us that writing notes immediately after listening or reading to something, like at the same time, makes us worse at learning. And that's because this space in between information coming in and going out gets so small that there's no opportunity for your brain to do any thinking in the first place. So if you want information to come into your brain and stay in your brain, then you have to actually let your brain in on the action. You need to give it the time and the opportunity to think and pull it apart and ask questions and connect it all together again. Because your job as a learner isn't just to take information and document it for later. Your job as a learner is to take in information so that your brain can process it. And honestly, if all you're doing is reading something or listening to something, writing some notes, and then later going to reread and then rewrite those notes, you are not letting your brain in on that process at any point. Unfortunately, if you, like most people, spent 10 years just writing notes endlessly as your main form of studying, and then someone, like me, tells you to stop doing that and try mind mapping instead, that's going to feel uncomfortable. It's different, it's new, it's unknown. It can make you feel anxious and insecure. What if it
Okay, here the guy who is recording the video is telling us that we must develop some strategies, some skills to uh, design good mind maps, okay? And it's not the idea is not to try to copy everything you hear or everything you have in a book or in a page, but think it over, process the information, and then come out with natural with new information, but short, concise information and new information. After reading, after listening to the conference, or after watching a movie, after watching a conference, listening to whatever it is, okay? Well, finally, I want to share the last video with you guys. This is a one Spanish video. Let's listen to and have a look how they use Word in our computers to design the mind map. Okay?
Vamos a aprender cómo hacer un mapa mental con Word. Cabe aclarar que existen algunas herramientas, páginas o programas para hacer mapas mentales de forma más automática y pues más rápida, pero he visto que vienen con unos diseños o como unas plantillas predeterminadas y no permiten personalizar mucho. Entonces, si queremos hacerlo de forma más personalizada, con imágenes, colores o un tipo de letra en específico, pues Word es una buena alternativa. También se podría utilizar PowerPoint, que tiene también algunas herramientas muy útiles para este tema de mapas mentales, pero por ahora vamos a ver cómo hacerlo en Word. Entonces, para empezar, se debe ubicar la hoja en forma horizontal, porque por lo general cuando se abre el programa está la hoja así en forma vertical como se ve acá.
A esto lo llamamos Hollywood al alcance de tus manos. Clip B llevará tus videos al siguiente nivel. Ya seas creador, mercadólogo, educador, productor de contenido o músico.
Entonces para eso vamos a disposición, clic en orientación y seleccionamos horizontal. También voy a cambiar el tamaño, lo que está en tamaño carta, voy a seleccionar oficio para tener un mayor espacio de trabajo. Y ahora sí voy a empezar con el título. Lo primero es insertar un cuadro de texto, para eso voy a la pestaña Insertar, Cuadro de texto y selecciono Cuadro de texto simple. Lo ubico en el centro de la hoja. Simplemente con un clic sostenido lo muevo y el programa me va a indicar cuándo está en el centro. Ahora selecciono el tipo de letra que voy a usar y el tamaño de la letra. Para eso voy de nuevo a Inicio, al grupo Fuente y doy clic en las fuentes. En este documento voy a usar dos tipos de letra. Voy a usar este Chicken Kitchen para el título y para los demás recuadros voy a usar el Little Sunshine. Estos tipos de letra que se ven acá, yo los descargué y los instalé previamente. Si quieren saber cómo instalar fuentes en Word, hice un video sobre eso y voy a dejar el link en la descripción de este video. Entonces selecciono el tipo de letra y selecciono el tamaño que voy a utilizar, que va a ser este 72. Elimino lo que está ahí y escribo el título. Le doy centrar. Este recuadro viene con un borde, entonces tengo que quitárselo. Selecciono el cuadro de texto, le doy clic derecho y en contorno le doy clic en sin contorno. También debo quitar el relleno para que no interfiera con los demás elementos que voy a agregar ahorita. Entonces en relleno también le doy sin relleno. Y al título quiero hacerle como un efecto de sombreado, entonces para eso voy a seleccionar el cuadro de texto, lo copio y lo pego nuevamente para que me queden dos cuadros iguales. Aquí se ven los dos cuadros. A este le voy a cambiar el color, voy a seleccionar este lavanda y ahora lo ubico sobre las letras que están en color negro para que quede como un efecto de sombra. Lo ubico pues un poco desfasado para que se vea como una sombra. Lo siguiente es insertar los recuadros donde voy a escribir las palabras o las ideas que se desprenden del título central. Para esto voy a insertar formas y selecciono el rectángulo que tiene las esquinas redondeadas. Ahora voy a la hoja, doy clic y se me crea el rectángulo. Le configuro el tamaño, con un clic sostenido lo arrastro y ahora empiezo a personalizarlo. Primero que todo voy a quitarle el contorno y en relleno escojo el color con el que voy a empezar. En este caso el color lavanda. Ya puedo empezar a escribir. Pero no he configurado todavía la letra. Entonces lo selecciono y aquí mismo o en la pestaña inicio selecciono la fuente y el tamaño de la letra. Ahora ya que tengo este recuadro creado, lo voy a copiar con control C.
Tu círculo define tu futuro. Si nadie crece a tu alrededor, tú tampoco crecerás. En el plan Platzi Expert Duo, creces con compañía. 2 accesos completos a miles de cursos tech, certificados
Y a pegar control V. Para hacer los demás recuadros simplemente le voy a cambiar el color. Lo selecciono, voy a formato y en relleno de forma puedo escoger el color que voy a usar en este cuadro de texto.
Well, okay, guys. So we have watched 3 different ways to design mind maps. Okay, so it's up to you. You choose the best way for you. You choose the best software for you. You choose the best strategy for you as well. Okay, so guys, remember, recuerden, es diseñar un mapa mental en donde vamos a dibujar nuestro proceso de aprendizaje del idioma inglés hasta hoy, cómo lo hemos hecho. ¿Listo? Y lo hacemos en un documento en PDF, lo hacemos en Word y luego lo pasamos a PDF y lo envían por la plataforma. ¿Ok? Ya les voy a habilitar la plataforma para que puedan hacer este video, este mind map. ¿Ok? Chicos, muchas gracias por mirar el video. It was a real pleasure. Have a good night and see you next week. Bye-bye.